students, welcome to the class. In today's class, we are going to learn the fourth chapter from the Civics. That was the key elements of a democratic government. So what is the name of the lesson? The key elements of a democratic government. So here we can understand the two words. The first one is key elements. What is the meaning of key elements? Yes, the important features or the features which were very important to run the government. Right. And the next word is democratic. So what is the meant by democratic? Yes, the democratic government means the government which was ruled by the people for the sake of the people is called democratic government. Yes, then what are the key features or key elements for a democratic government that we need to learn from this lesson? Yes, our lesson has to start with a country from Africa. That was South Africa. Yes, South Africa is a country from African continent. And South Africa is a mixture of different races. So many races were living in South Africa. In that, whites are there who came from the other countries and settled in the South Africa, and the blacks who belonged to South Africa, and Indians who went from the India for the purpose of trade and as slaves. So all these people living in South Africa. Yes, and before some decades back, there was a government which was ruled on the basis of apartheid. So what is apartheid? Apartheid means it is a type of government which divides the races in the country and which ruled on the basis of the races. Yes, and our story starts with the question of a 11 years old girl, Maya. Upon a time, Maya asked her mother about Hector Peterson, who shot by the police. Then her mother starts the narration of the history of South Africa. Few decades before, there were many races were living in South Africa. Those were whites, blacks, Indians and other colored people. Yes, but according to the apartheid laws, these races should not mingle with each other, should not live near one another. Yes, this may be shocking for us. Nowadays, we are living in a free country and we are enjoying everything which was provided in the nature. But few decades back in South Africa, the people suppressed and suffered a lot because of the apartheid government. Yes, and the ambulances and the hospitals were separate for the whites and the blacks. Yes, and the whites had superior quality of the facilities and the blacks were very low facilities and low quality facilities. And the schools, facilities, infrastructures, even the land where they are living also separate from the whites. Whites are living in a sophisticated and very good lands and blacks meant to live in a worst lands. Yes, so there was no equality between the whites and the blacks in South Africa few decades back. There was a place in South Africa where the blacks meant to live. The name of the place was Southwestern Township, which was called as Soweto. Yes, there this Hector Peterson named boy living. And he is studying in a school which was run by the apartheid government. In that school, this apartheid government forced the people learn the African language. But the community of the black would like to learn their own language, Zulu. So which was the own language of the native people of South Africa? Yes, it was Zulu. So these people were interested to learn Zulu only. But apartheid government forced them to learn African language. So for this, many of the people come together and protest against the apartheid government. So in that, police beat this Hector Peterson and other protesters and they shot in the public these people. So they died on the date of 16th June 1976. So by this incident, it is clear that there is no democratic government and there is like dictatorship. What is the word of the government, that has to be followed by the people, and the people has no chance to express their feeling, to express their wish. But after the few years, the African National Congress group, so a group of people who struggled against the apartheid system. So the leader for this group was Nelson Mandela. Yes, Nelson Mandela is the father of South Africa. So he fought several years against the apartheid system. At last, in 1994, the South Africa free from the apartheid system and became as democratic government country. Yes, in the year of 1994, it got independence. Not exactly the independence, it freed from the apartheid system. Means all the races can participate freely in the democratic government and all the races can live happily in the South Africa. Then now South Africa is one of the best country in the world. Yes, this is all about the history of the South Africa, how the South Africa suppressed because of the apartheid system, means where there is a distinction on the basis of the races. So whites are given more important than the blacks. Actually, blacks are the native people of the South Africa and the white people came from the other countries. Even though the apartheid system gave the importance to the whites who came from the other countries. Then these blacks who are the native people of the South Africa led the movement and got their independence and the rights back into their hands. Yes. Now, our next concept in this lesson is participation. Yes, we know very well about the participation of the people in our India. Yes, just return back to India. In India, the people can participate in the elections and in the decisions of the government also. Can you say how it will be? Yes, by the electing our beloved representatives, people can indirectly participate in the decision making of the government. Every 5 years, elections were conducted, and in that elections, the citizens who have the 18 years of age can participate and vote for their beloved representatives from their locality. So that representatives will go to the assembly or the parliament. There he or she will talk on behalf of that community or the locality people. So these representatives have the voice of the people, right? Yes. So this is one of the famous way where the people in India can participate in the decision making of the government. Yes. And if the representative want to continue after the 5 years, that representative has to re-elect by the people. Why? Because after the period of 5 years, the people come to know his working condition and the benefits they can get from his services. So everything known by the people during the 5 years. Then if that person would like to become again the representative of that locality, he has to stood in the elections and he has to re-elect by the same people. So that is the power in the hands of the people. If the people don't want at all that person, they won't vote for that person. So they will elect any other person from that locality. So other ways also are there in India to participate people in the government issues. So in this lesson, we will just see what are the other things where the people can interrupt the government. So not only the elections which will come after 5 years. In middle of these 5 years also, the people in the India have a right to participate in the decision making of the government or to change the decision of the government. Then we can have a best example here. In 2005, one of the government in India increased the pay for electricity. Immediately, the state people did the rallies, dharnas, and they led signature campaigns also. So because of all these, the government try to explain its things and try to defend its decision, even though the people did not listen the word of the government. Ultimately, the government listened the voice of the people and it understand the problems of the people. It reduced the pay for the electricity. Yes, this has to be done in any state. Why? Because any decision taken by the state government, it will reflect the people of the government. So because of this, the people has to agree to the decision of the government. Otherwise, the decision has to be changed by the government. Not only this example, we have many examples in our daily life where we are come across many dharnas, rallies, strikes and signature campaigns led by the people. Yes, if you switch on the TV early morning or if you turn the newspaper early morning, you can come across many dharnas are going on in our state. Yes, recently we have one famous dharna is going on in our state. Can you name that? Yes, that dharna or the strike about our state capital Amravati. Yes, daily we are hearing lot of news about state capital, our state decision about our state capital. Yes, the people who are staying Guntur and Amravati are doing dharnas and strikes. So why they are doing so? Why? Because they are trying to tell their problems to the government. Yes. So these dharnas, strikes, rallies and signature campaigns are the sources or the ways to express their disapproval to the government. So a democratic government has to respond these type of protests from the people. Yes, and till now we have seen that the common problems like current charges or about lands or about RTC buses prices or train prices or the budget issues. So these are the common problems to the people who lived in a country. But there are particular community problems also will be in India. For that community people will strike to get their benefits from the government. We can say that the Dalit rallies, Adivasi rallies, women strikes and minority people strikes. So all these are the problems which pertain to the particular group, like Adivasi problems, Dalit problems or women problems, or like minorities problems. So who are the minorities? So the minorities means who are having a less number but have their interests. So for example, Andhra people are minority people in Kerala. Why? Because Kerala people are majority people than the Andhra people in Kerala state. Minority means it is not in other way, should not take into other way. So means minority means less number of the people but having their strong interests. So those are called minority peoples. So like that, many communities are facing many problems in the democratic countries and they are continuously doing the dharnas, rallies, protests to let the government understand their problems. This is one way of expressing their views to the government and their participation in the democratic government. Can you name the persons in democratic country who helps to this type of dharnas and rallies? Yes, of course. The people who belongs to the media, TV, newspaper and now internet are the main sources and helpful things to the democratic people to express their views to the government. Of course, by watching the TV, by reading the newspaper only, we are getting lot of news about our Andhra Pradesh or India or about the world. So media plays an important role in communicating between the people and government. Next time, if you observe any rally in front of you, you just observe on what purpose they are doing rally, who are the people involved in that. So what is the government response on that rally? You just think one moment. If you don't know the things, you just ask your elders. By knowing all these things, we can understand the working condition of our government. Yes, how far the government is flexible to the needs and the deeds of the people. Yes, whenever the people questioning the government, whenever the people completing their demands by the government, then the democratic government becomes stronger and stronger. The name itself indicating that democratic government, people's government. So that type of governments are always favorable to the people. That's why questioning and fulfilling the demands of the people is the right of democratic government. So the strongness of the democratic government lies in the fulfillment of the demands of the people in that country by the government. Tomorrow we will see more concepts from this lesson. Those are conflict resolution and equality. Thank you.